Frankenstein grew up in Geneva. His father had been an important figure in the government, and they were well off. He grew up with his cousin, Elizabeth, whom his parents expected him to marry eventually. He had a little brother named William. He had a best friend named Henry Clerval. Frankenstein goes to a famous university in Ingolstadt, where he becomes very good at science. He figures out scientifically how to bring something to life, though he doesn't tell us what the secret is. He makes a creature using parts from a graveyard. On a rainy night in November, he brings it to life, but he's so horrified by it that he runs away. The next day, his friend Clerval arrives at the university to begin his studies, but Frankenstein becomes ill, and Clerval spends all winter nursing him. Just as he's getting better at the beginning of spring, he gets a letter telling him that his little brother, William, has been murdered. Justine, a servant in his house whom everyone always liked, has been arrested because William had been carrying a locket that was found on her. So Frankenstein heads home. Just before he gets home, he sees the monster from a distance, and he knows that the monster killed his brother. Frankenstein watches Justine's trial, and his cousin, Elizabeth, testifies that she's too nice to have done this, but she's convicted and sentenced to death. Frankenstein has to watch her die. Frankenstein goes with his family on a sightseeing trip, and one day, when he goes mountain climbing by himself, the monster appears to him and makes him sit down and listen to his story. Frankenstein would rather kill him, but he listens. The monster describes how he came to life completely disoriented. He didn't know how to speak or understand language, and he had to get used to the feel of his own body, and to figure out basic concepts like light and dark, heat and cold, and hunger and thirst. He eventually wandered out into the forest, where he could hide and look for berries and nuts. The first human he sees is an old man in a hut, who runs away in terror because the monster is so hideous. He's fascinated by the first village he walks into, but the residents are terrified, and they drive him off by throwing things at him. He finally finds shelter in this little shed built up against the side of a cottage. He can look through a crack and observe the people who live there, but they don't know he's there. These people are called the DeLacys, a brother and sister named Felix and Agatha, and their blind old father, who plays the guitar. The creature sees how much they love each other, and he wants to be like them. He starts learning language by listening to them speak French. One day, an Arabian woman named Saifi arrives. Saifi doesn't speak English or know much about European culture, so Felix teaches her everything from vocabulary and reading to history, and the monster learns along with her. He learns to read and write, and about good and evil, and about the history of human societies. In the woods, he finds 3 books: Paradise Lost, The Sorrows of Young Werther, and Plutarch's Lives, and he reads the papers that were in Frankenstein's dressing gown, which reveal who Frankenstein is, where he lives, and how he came to make the monster. The monster starts to hate Frankenstein for giving him such an awful, lonely existence, and abandoning him, since he's too ugly to make friends with anyone. Monster wants to be friends with the DeLacys, and he decides that if he goes to talk to the old man first, the old man will listen, because he's blind. When the others leave, he pretends to be a traveler, and speaks to DeLacy, and it's going okay until Felix and Agatha and Saifi come back. The women are horrified, and Felix drives the monster off with a stick. At first, the monster goes out into the woods and decides that he's going to declare war on humans. But in the morning, he cools down and decides to go back and try again. But he finds Felix giving up the lease, and he never sees the DeLacys again, which makes him feel doubly rejected. He comes back at night and destroys the cottage. Then he starts the long walk to Geneva to try to find his creator. He gets shot while he's on his way there, just because he stops to help a woman who's drowning. When he gets to Geneva, he grabs this little boy, thinking that he can use the boy to learn his way around. But when the boy mentions his father's name is Frankenstein, the monster kills him to get revenge on Frankenstein. Just to be even more hateful, he puts the locket William was carrying in Justine's pocket, knowing she'll be condemned for murder. The monster insists that Frankenstein make a female as ugly as he is, so he'll have a companion. He promises to go away with her to South America, and threatens to kill lots of people if Frankenstein won't do it, so Frankenstein agrees.